Shalom, Israel. This is the brother YAHAWAH from the Prophets of Babylon camp here in Tampa, Florida. Before we start, I want to give all praises to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, QADASH. And I also want to give double honors to the apostles and bishops, a great millstone who teach a rule well. And today we're gonna get into the Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Going into the curses, how does fit the description of the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. I'm going to start at verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently, which the word hearken is going into listen, unto the voice of the Lord, Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Right. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh, was speaking unto Moses, unto the children of Israel, was telling them, if we do what he says, what he pleases, we follow his commandments, we'll be blessed, we'll be empowered, we'll have a lot of things, we'll be above all the nations. But I'm going to go down to verse 15. And it says, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord Yahweh, BAHASHAM YAHWASHI thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right? So since we didn't hearken unto the voice of the Lord, these are the curses that got put upon us, I'm going to go into verse 16. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field. Right? Who is the poorest in the city, the ghetto, the projects, etc.? And everywhere we go, we are cursed. Cursed shalt thou be, cursed, Salakia, cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Right? If we want to open a business, it wouldn't last long. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. Right, the fruit of thy body, meaning our children, they'll be cursed. And the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep, which the meaning of land is going to, we will grow fruit, but we will not own no land. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Right. When we come in this world, we are cursed. The day we're born, we're cursed. When we leave the world, we are cursed. The day we die, we are cursed. Going down to verse 20. The Lord Yahweh shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. Right? Everything we put our hands on is cursed. Everywhere we go, we're the last to get hired, the first to get fired. When you try to get a job, you got a job, Can't keep a job. We're poor. We work hard to bring home little, which Haggai 1:6 thinks goes, we should be subject unto payments, all our hard-earned money, we'll work hard, as soon as you get the paycheck, the money is going right out your pockets. It's like you're working for nothing. We are destroyed in knowledge because we forsake the Lord. So he placed these curses upon us. Salak, you're going to verse 21. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with a consumption, and with a fever, and with an inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and it shall pursue thee until thou perish. Right, during the time of slavery, we were living with diseases, people on the slave ships throwing up, The women were on their periods. You know, and the Native Americans were getting smallpox, you know, from the white man, Esau Edom. Verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under shall be iron. Salakia. Verse 23, and thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under shall be made iron, right? Being held in captivity. Verse 24, the Lord shall make the rain of thy, Salakia, the Lord YAHAWASHI shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until it be destroyed. Right, the dust be going to the confusion, you know, no rain coming on land, you know. We're in a dust confused state, you know, a dust confused state, you know. Verse 25, the Lord Yahweh shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And thy carcase shall be meat unto all fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Carcase meaning dead bodies during slavery, who will be beat to death and be left there. Fowls eat our dead bodies, and they'll you know, the slave masters and stuff, they'll watch us get eaten. Verse 27, the Lord shall smite thee with the butt of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. Hold on. Salaki, the Lord YAHAWASHI will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. Right, all these plagues will be put upon us, and it will not be healed. Verse 28, the Lord YAHAWASHI shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart. Right, you'll go to a city and see Jake is blinded in their mind, just going crazy, bugged out, straight madness. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind grope in the darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Nobody can save us from these curses, from everything that's going on, but the Lord himself. Let's go down to verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Right, you'll get a wife, slave master will take her and rape her right in front of you. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell in there. Salakia. Thou shalt build a house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Example would be the White House, you know. Israel, you know. They built the White House. They can't even dwell in there. And who's in there right now? Thou shalt plant the vineyard and shall not gather the grapes there. Thou shalt plant a vineyard and shall not gather the grapes thereof. You know, another example would be Issachar, you know, the so-called Mexican. They build these nice big mansions, and they can't even dwell in them. Going down to verse 31, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from thy Salakia. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face. It shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thy enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Right? The devil will violently take away our goods, our women, gold, animals, etc. 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there should be no might in thine hand. Right? When our children get took, we'll mourn, but we couldn't do anything about it. Verse 33, the fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed away. It's going to the heathen, Esau, Edom. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. The Lord, YAHAWASHI Yahushua, shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. The Lord Yahweh shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Right? We came over to America in captivity. You know, we were serving these other gods. Example would be like Kaaba stone in Mecca, etc. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Right? The white man, you know, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, drives through these hoods and be astonished at how destroyed we are. You know, and a famous proverb, you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in a book. You know, we had Hebrew names, but then they would call us black, you know, niggers, African Americans, you know, Puerto Ricans, etc. Verse 38, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume in. Thou shalt plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine, nor neither the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. Thou shalt have olive trees throughout all thy coasts, but thou shalt not anoint thyself with the oil, for thine olive shall cast its fruit. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. Right? The heathen shall get up high like bosses, etc., and we're low, we at the bottom. Verse 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Right? If you want to get a loan, you got to go to the white man. You got to go to the white man for everything. You know, you got to go to your enemy for everything in need. Verse 45, Salakia. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, so thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord YAHAWASHI Yahushua thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. Verse 46, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. Right? These curses are signs to identify who we are. You know, to identify who we are, you know. Verse 47, because thou servest not the Lord YAHAWASHI Yahushua thy power with joyfulness and with the gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies which the Lord YAHAWASHI shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. He shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. You know, yokes of iron on us were on us in the time of slavery. You know, and the enemies primarily referred to the Edomites, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. You know, everything you want, it says in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness, everything you want, you gotta go to the enemy. You know, you want food, clothes, etc., anything in need. Verse 49, the Lord YAHAWASHI shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flying, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Right, it's talking about Edom. Example, when Christopher Columbus came, you know, and he used a Hebrew interpreter to tell us something different. You know, he deceived us because we never spoke English. You know, the original, you know, for the Israelites, the original language is Hebrew, you know. But he had a Hebrew interpreter to tell us something different, you know, and got us on them ships. Verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor shew favor to the young. Right? White man didn't care about us or the age of our people. He had everybody in the field, even if you were a baby, an elder, women, men, etc., you know. Verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down. Wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land, he shall besiege thee, and all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord YAHAWASHI thy power hath given thee. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord YAHAWASHI thy power hath given thee, in the siege and in the straitness, whereof thy enemies shall distress thee. Right, it's talking about cannibalism, you know. In the time of this famine, we're eating our own children. Verse 54, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, and his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. You know, an example would be like black on black crimes. You know, you'll go out, you be staring at either you or somebody be staring at you like they want to kill you. You don't even know the person. That could start something huge, you know. But it's like that everywhere you go. His eyes shall be evil toward his brother, and toward his wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave. Right, when they have children, they probably wasn't around. You know, you got your wife trying to rule over you. Verse 55, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left in him in the siege and in the straitness, where thine enemies shall distress thee and all thy gates. The tender and delicate women among you, which will not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward her husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter. Right? You'll get a woman, you getting them pregnant, you know, not trying to treat them with all the love. They try to pass it down to the grandparents. Verse 57, and toward her young one, that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children, which she shall bear, for she shall eat them, for want of all things that secretly in the siege and straitness, where thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. If thou wilt not deserve to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, thy power. Right? If you listen to the commandments, basically like verse 1 was saying, if you listen to the commandments, I'll put you over everybody, going from the first verse to the 14th verse. Verse 59, then the Lord will make thy plagues wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and of long continuance, and sore sickness, and of long continuance. Moreover, he will bring upon thee all the diseases of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and they shall cleave unto thee. Also, every sickness and every plague, which is not written in the book of this law, them will the Lord YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI bring upon thee, until thou be destroyed. And ye shall be left few in number, whereas the stars of heaven for multitude, because thou wouldest not obey the voice of the Lord YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, thy power. And it shall come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good and to multiply you, so the Lord Yahweh rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And ye shall be plucked from off the land whither thou goest to possess it. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. We were scattered around and serving and worshiping other gods, which we were told not to do. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have no rest. But the Lord YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would God it were even, and even thou shalt say, would God were it morning, for the fear of thy heart, where thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thy eyes, which thou shalt see. And the Lord YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, which that word Egypt is going into bondage, house of bondage, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Come on. I want to go back to this one verse, the yoke of iron. Where is that? Yoke of iron. Verse 48, I'm going to look up the yoke of iron. If you look up yoke of iron, it's the first thing you'll see. Hold on. But with that, hopefully this is edifying, to the hopeful elect, lost sheep. Before we close out, once again, I want to give all praises to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Until then, I say shalom.